Episode 29.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving for glory.
Welcome back to Diving for Glory, a podcast that looks at football as an obsession. I am your host, Pep Corciola, back on the grind for a huge weekend of sublime football that shines like rays of sun through the blinds. Sir Solomon, what up, man?
What's good?
Yeah. This week, the top dogs fight it out in La Liga. Man City dispatch of North London. Serie A has an awesome Saturday and a dreadful Sunday. Champs League is back this week. Big league roundups, and as always, the prestigious and egregious D4G award section. Don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Tuesday on iTunes and divingforglory.com. Now you can also find us on YouTube. Video D4G coming soon. Follow us on Twitter at Diving for Glory and Facebook as well. Follow it, hashtag it, like it, just like it. Do whatever's clever, man. All right.
Don't dislike it.
Tell us your feelings, man. You want to adjust the cup, jerseys tucked, boots lace, Diving for Glory. Let's go. All right, we travel to Catalonia, Barcelona, hosting Atletico Madrid, first place versus second place. Tell us about it, Sir Solomon.
Yes, exciting setup to this game. Barca were faltering off late. They came in off of a tie to Las Palmas, and with 3 draws and 2 wins in their last 5 in the league. Whereas Atletico came in 5 straight. Win. Team coming together. Diego Costa, Griezmann partnership looking beautiful. When they rotated and Kevin Gamero comes on in the Europa Cup, he's destroying it. I had higher expectations offensively of Atletico, but they didn't deliver on that.
So just the recap for everybody coming into this game, there was a 5-point gap. Atletico with a victory could have trimmed that lead to 2 points, but Barcelona come away with the victory here, man. Messi with an amazing free kick, 26th minute.
Yes, spectacular free kick. 3rd straight game where he scored a fucking free kick.
He's been sick.
We can only say so much about Messi and his stats. So it was amazing, needless to say. And they held him off. What I didn't like about Barca is how thin the squad is. They only have a starting, kind of like a starting 10. And they don't even have a starting 11, let alone guys off the bench. And in the second half, if you look at it, Atleti looked better. Partially due to what they're doing, but also partially because due to injury in the first half, Andres Iniesta came off, and Andre Gomez replaced him. That's like replacing the Ferrari with a scooter. That's broken.
He was awful, man. I'm gonna verify.
He's awful. He should not wear those colors. He's not qualified to be on that level.
So, surprised to see him come in as opposed to Paulinho?
No, I'm not. I'm not even surprised, but equally disappointed because a few minutes into the second half, Coutinho comes off and Paulinho comes on. This makes the midfield, Busquets is nice, man. He's balling out. Rakitic is getting dragged all over the place because he's supposed to be worker bee and he's doing his thing. But the creative, what Barca's midfield used to dominate was with creativity. And after about 60 minutes, that was basically 4 defensive midfielders playing. And 2 of them who are extreme liabilities on offense.
And I mean, it stands out when you see, to me, when you see Busquets so far forward. He had a couple shots, man.
And he's doing his thing. Busquets plays in Busquets' position because that's what Barca needs him to do. He can play all 3 midfield positions, but to push up, he had a beautiful volley off of a corner that got parried away. He did his thing, but that shows you the imbalance in the Barca team. And Atleti was set up, they were both set up in a 4-4-2, and Atleti had Koke, Gabi, Partey.
Partey looked good, though. Partey had a good game, I thought.
Yeah, he had a Partey in midfield. Yeah. And Niguez, Saul, with Griezmann and Costa, of course, up front. But this was a workhorse midfield, and when you have also your forward looking kind of like a workhorse midfield, then Atleti is better.
Yeah.
Because these guys can do that and play going forward. Whereas Barca's guys, especially Andre Gomez and Paulinho at the beginning of the season scored goals off his thigh, whatever, did the tap-ins. You have to be in the right place at the right time. It was fun at the time. But if you look at his positioning and offensive play, especially with him not doing those goals, he's been a liability. And it's ridiculous. Even the Chelsea game.
So let's look at the other side, though. What was is Barcelona just that good defensively now that they just totally stymied or stifled the Atletico offense? Like, I mean, they had 6 shots, only one on goal.
Yes.
All 5 of the 6 coming in the second half.
Partially what we're talking about Barca's struggles are us looking at a team that's so dominant that we split hairs on it. Because if you look statistically, even with all that being said, they finished the game with close to 60% of the possession.
Yep.
They had 12 corners to Atleti's just 1. Like, if your offense keeps moving, that's a big part of defense. Mm-hmm. So they were getting it to Messi. He got dispossessed a lot, but he kept dribbling and trying, and that held them back, and they could never get Griezmann into the game the way that Barca got Messi into the game. And therefore, Luis Suarez was moving nicely because Messi was moving and getting the balls. Mm-hmm. Diego Costa, at some point, I didn't even realize he was in the game because he just got frozen out.
And that's surprising that he just doesn't have an influence at all.
He tried that one moment with Samuel Umtiti where he was like trying to start something, and like he's a scary target,
like,
man.
Caressed his head or something.
Yeah, Samuel Umtiti just gave him the warlord smile. By the way, that's one thing that really annoys me about Diego Costa is that he's a flat track bully. Like, he never steps up when the guys are actually just look like they can fuck him up.
Hey, man, he's just testing the waters. He's like, if you're gonna be a bitch, I'm gonna boss you. If you step up, though, it's like the bully. It's like, you're right, though. It's like most bullies in the world, man. Yeah. Once you step up, they're like, oh shit, somebody has balls. It's true.
Ridiculous. Anyways, it always looked like it was gonna end 1-0. Like, after they got it, Barca, like, that allowed them to have their 2 lines of 4 sitting deep, and they'll just kick it out to Messi, and he'll just have a little fun, play some playground football, and then get tackled and rinse and repeat.
So I thought Iniesta was well on his way to actually being man of the match. Like, he was the guy that was.
This is a game made for Iniesta,
facilitating everything.
And
he got injured early though, and stayed on for another 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, he tried it, but now they're saying it might be 4 to 6 weeks,
and that's horrible considering Champions League aspirations. Because at this point, like, he is that guy that they're gonna save for most of the Champions League matches.
Did you see how many the tackle statistics?
No, I didn't. What was it?
Atletico had 40.
Damn! It was a physical game. It was definitely a physical game.
Yeah, Barca themselves had a very respectable 18, which was like they were getting stuck in. Mm-hmm. But they have 40, dude.
Yeah, damn. That's Simeone, man.
It worked. I mean, they dispossessed Messi like 8 times. Yeah. Nobody does that.
Yeah. I looked at that. I was like, ooh, man, like, man of the match. Like, 8 dispossessions is a lot.
But he's still man of the match.
Still man of the match.
Still had 5 key passes.
5 key passes.
And the goal.
And the only goal.
Wonder goal.
Yep, it's true. So basically, with this victory, Barcelona opened up an 8-point lead with 11 games left. Atletico remains second. They're 7 points up on Real Madrid. You just see Real creeping slowly but surely.
No.
They won't catch them?
Nah. Atleti's form is actually much better currently than Real's. Other than the Barca loss, Atleti has been balling. The football they're playing is much better.
Agreed.
Like, I do not think Real is catching them.
I think I'm kind of shocked that that Real is even that close. After all this,
like, Real has actually, since Bale came back and moved to the 4-3-3, which we'll cover later, have actually been making good progress. But Atleti have looked ridiculous. That's why I was surprised that they kind of shut the bed against Barca. They didn't really go after it.
Yeah, there's another team that did something very similar, which we'll get to next. Man of the match is Messi. Are we in agreement on that?
Yes.
All right. We're not even going to elaborate on that. That's
Yeah,
obvious.
look him up. He's this guy from Argentina. He knows a little football.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, in all the same vein, Barcelona, Atletico, Chelsea, City. I mean, like, there's a lot of connections here. Simeone, always being looked at for a Chelsea, as a Chelsea replacement. Barcelona facing Chelsea in Champions League. Pep Guardiola coaching City. So there's a lot of similarities coming to this next game, you would think. But Manchester City, man, after dispatching Arsenal in midweek in their league game, 6-0, 2 games in a row, fucking Nichols on ESPN said that they just played 2 friendlies against Arsenal.
I mean, they have a more difficult time when they come to the United States and play the MLS All-Stars and stuff that don't even practice together. Like, basically over 2 games, Bernardo Silva had his coming-out party that we've been waiting for, and apparently he's good. He's worth 50 million or so, I think.
Did I miss a Sterling injury or something? Like, he has to be injured. He wasn't even in the squad.
I don't know. Like, he's bacteria size, so like I'm sure he can't play a full season.
But I bring that up to hammer the point home about Bernardo, because like you almost forget, like, shit, man, who was starting in that spot? Oh, it was Sterling.
Just like at the lesser level, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, Leroy Sané has been the best player, and KDB has been more a facilitator from deep. And
True.
Like Pep, this is what we were talking about. He wants a situation where, depending on the matchup, you don't know where he's going to get you from.
Yeah, Sané. Woo! So, this game kind of unfolded in one way that you would expect. City dominating possession, Chelsea sitting back. But this was a little bit different.
Yes.
Tell us why.
Even though City dominating possession, it's ridiculous for it to be at an 80-20 clip, which is what it was at the first half. City had 80% of the possession about 5 minutes before halftime. So I get ceding possession, but unless you're an FA Cup like Oldham Athletic playing against Man City, like, that's ridiculous.
So one thing that I mentioned is, like, this is very there's a lot. Obviously, it's sports, so there's a lot of hyperbole. 2 weeks ago, Conte is a master tactician, sitting back against Barca, almost dominating Barcelona, and now he's like, oh, he's not even trying to keep his job with his performance here. Why was it so drab? Why was it just so...
I think the Barca performance was a false dawn, first of all. And we talk about how Willian has his certain stretches where he looks like a world beater, and it happened at that point. But the system, even though it's being praised and lauded all over the world, was the best player on the team does not like the system.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
He does not even perform in that system. And whoop-de-doo, you got a 1-1 draw with Barca at home. Well, look at it this way. Now you need to score.
Now you have to score. Yeah, it's true. So, really quickly, 46 minute, Silva to Silva, David to Bernardo for the only goal of the game.
Yeah, Chelsea came out of the locker room a minute later than they should have, and it was done.
They came out of the locker room 93 minutes later
yes,
than they should have.
That game, that goal, I wish it had happened in the first half, because the first half level of dominance and how they showed, like, there have been times, like when Spain beat Russia in the World Cup Euro semifinals, it was a 1-0 victory, but it was one of the most resounding 1-0s I've seen. Like, this was a 1-0, but one team was so far better than the other team. It was ridiculous, and you can't beat Chelsea in that position.
So let's talk about a couple things leading up to the rest of this game. Is that we want to talk formation. They played the false 9 with Hazard up front and Morata and Giroud on the bench, which he's been doing the past few games. And so,
with no creative support from midfield.
This is exactly where I was going with it. Like, Conte supposedly fainted before the game So he was out of this game.
Oh no, I think Kante. Oh, it was before the game that it happened. I thought he fainted in training yesterday.
Was it? Oh, really? I know he was sick. He was sick for this game. He was supposed to play,
maybe,
and he was sleeping on the bus.
Either way, they don't have Kante. They have Fabregas and Drinkwater in the middle with Alonso and Moses pretending to be midfielders, but really playing a 5-man defense, and badly.
Be like an 8-man defense.
So
dude.
what I'm saying is like across the line, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
in front of them you have Fabregas and Drinkwater, which is like the tamest partnership of like anything you could. Like,
It's true.
This
So
is like those when actually funny example when Fabregas was in Arsenal and they'd give him this kind of midfield partnership and he'd look ridiculous in it. That is exactly what he went his whole career to avoid, and now full circle Fabregas looking like an idiot because they're putting him in a midfield that doesn't know how to support him.
So I mentioned the formation because then I wanted to get around to the personnel. So you start this totally defensive midfield, or ideally a defense that you want to sit back, or a midfield that you want to sit back, and they just got overran.
Work.
Once they're down 1-0, nothing changed.
Nothing.
What the fuck is that? What are the instructions from Antonio Conte at that point?
First off, in-game instructions were terrible. Secondly, it looks like they've lost, like he's lost them. When players are this talented, there's a Champions League game, whatever, they'll ball out because they don't want to be embarrassed also, but it's looked for a while that he's losing this team. And when you're setting up in a defensive formation, and you're trying to hold the other team cannot have 92% passing accuracy. That's not defense, that's just sitting back.
and that, yeah.
You have to bother them, man.
And so we've, as I mentioned prior to recording, City has lost one league game, and one very strong takeaway from that game against Liverpool was the way that, now it's Liverpool press. That's their thing. But like they pressed the shit out of City and they caused City problems. And even after going down, like I expected, like maybe at least like the 70th, 75th minute that they would bring on the striker, that they would start pressing, that they would actually go for the draw. But they never did.
Yeah, that's the thing about the super conservative like Conte and Mourinho and them. If it breaks their way, they'll take it, but they're not going all out. And secondly, they had 3 shots in the fucking game.
In the whole game, dude.
Like, I don't give a fuck how confident you are in your shot accuracy. You don't go up against a team in the Premier League, shoot 3 times, and anybody, not even Manchester City, and expect to come away with a result.
Anything. So he does bring on Giroud. Surprisingly brings on Giroud before Morata. And then in the 90th minute, mystifyingly brings off Hazard and brings on Morata.
Hazard has done nothing but express how much he loves to play with Morata. He said, like, after this game, he said it wouldn't have mattered if it was a 3-hour-long game. I still wouldn't have touched the ball. Yep. Like, he's publicly addressing the fucking coach.
He's just shit on the coach.
Yeah, and this is unless something changes, like, this is a big issue. I don't know.
Morata, no goals since Boxing Day. I will bring that up.
He hasn't played much since Boxing Day.
Right? You gotta play to score. So with this result, City edge closer to the inevitable title. There's 9 games left. They need 4 wins. 11 points actually, and of course that'll even dwindle down once United and Liverpool drop some points. They play each other. Yep. Chelsea loses to both Manchester teams, and they fall 5 points back for 4th place. It is looking very dreary for Chelsea.
Chelsea is in a fucking little island in 5th, and I think they'll stay there only because the teams underneath them happen to be just as retarded as they are.
Something's in the water in North London.
Chelsea's in West London.
Are they in West London?
Yeah, North London derby is Arsenal and Tottenham.
Oh shit, man! I need to get my pronunciation together.
You get a compass
my
or something.
Geography together. Oh fuck it, man! Fuck it. City just ran rampant over London as a whole.
Basically,
anyway,
England as a whole.
Pretty fucking much. Man of the match.
Man of the match, David Silva.
I got the other one. I got Bernardo.
Yes.
We'll
get back to that later and discuss it, but I just wanted to... How somebody is playing against Chelsea with an Italian coach and manages 94.7 passing accuracy off of 133 touches.
You're supposed to beat David Silva up, just like they do Messi whenever they see him with the ball.
No physical contact, nothing. That was his game, man.
Yeah, it's true.
When you let him go like that, he's the best player in the Premier League.
Yeah, no, I love David Silva, man. So key, so awesome, club legend. We're gonna move on though. We're gonna move on to Italy, which had a very emotional weekend. We're going to start with the games, though, man. The first game that we're going to cover happened on Saturday, and is Lazio hosting Juventus. Juventus came in this game still second place with a game in hand. Napoli, Roma after this. Juventus come away with this 1-0 over Lazio. Tell us about it.
This was a game of the two highest scoring offenses in Italy. And it ended with 3 shots on target total.
Oh, good old Serie A.
Yeah, the 3 shots on target combined from both teams. Lazio shot 4 times and Juve shot 6 times. That was it.
Too much Barolo and cannolis the night before.
Yes, too much Eastern Europeans in the middle of the field blocking everything from happening. Milinkovic-Savic, who everybody seems to be interested in. He didn't have a great game, but the 3-5-2. Do you remember, I think it was 2 months ago or something, I told you when two teams play 3-5-2, this is why people started straying away from it.
It just nullifies itself.
It nullifies itself, a bore draw, unless somebody makes a mistake or a brilliant piece of skill happens, which was what the 90s, the early 90s, 1990, 91, that was football, and it fucking sucked. And this game took you back to that.
That was interesting because I had read an article on the similarities between Conte and Mourinho over the week, and it just talked about, Mourinho, apparently, I wasn't really watching football at this point, but kind of revolutionized the 4-3-3, and Conte brought in this 3-5-2 or whatnot, or whatever it is that he runs, the 3-man backfield. But they said in both instances, teams found that the way to counter it was to match the formation. What do you think about that?
Yes, 4-3-3, he brought it about because right before then, the formations rotate. You watch football, you watch basketball, the game changes, and sometimes it comes back. Yeah, it's people react to you. So right before Mourinho came about, the formation du jour was the 4-3-2-1. I mean 4-2-3-1, which allows for defensive solidity because you have 2 sit-back defenders behind 3 guys that you can choose whether you want them to be box-to-box, wingers, etc. So, but 4-3-3 creates a 3-man midfield against a 2-man midfield. So, by doing that, you kind of get an extra man. So 4-3-3, Mourinho figured out was the best way to stop that. 4-2-3-1. Whereas the 3-5-2 is a long outdated system that they're calling 3-5-2 now, but it's not. The
really
original iteration of it
something.
was a 3-5-2 with actual wingers that ran back and forth. Now it's more like a 5-4-1 that he's playing, but the shape is ridiculous. It doesn't offer much. When you have that many people back, you have to have a lot of support. They got to be aligned nicely so that if you get past one guy, you don't, you got to cause traffic. And he has so many guys back, but there's still so much space to move around in that is really not effective. It was just a fad one. Whereas the 4-3-3, that stayed the formation until a year or two ago.
Yeah,
a 10-year reign.
So yeah, that was a side note. I was just curious. But for this game, Lazio Juventus, this was a tale of two halves. I mean, Lazio arguably were the better team in the first half. Almost equal to possession. They had more shots. I mean, Juventus was just kind of, I don't know, not there yet or something.
Juventus played also rotated team, and on the defensive front, for example, if you look at Chiellini and Alexandro, they didn't play. I mean, they came on, but
yeah.
But even who's the guy from Munich?
That David
Costa.
Costa.
Douglas
Douglas
Costa.
Yeah.
Like, he came off the bench. But the thing about Juve which worries me against Tottenham too, when they play a team that presses in the midfield and harasses you, Pjanic does not perform. So he struggled a lot in this game. Wayward passes. When the game speed becomes fast and the defense is organized, he doesn't step up to the next level. He's a good, and they have a couple of those kind of guys like Higuain and him. Like, they have guys that are good at like going through a season, but the Champions League, you need spectacularity, and they need more Dybalas and less Pjanic and Higuains around.
No doubt. So second half though, totally different story. Juventus obviously had their morning espresso, 70-30 possession, and Lazio doesn't even get a shot off in the second half.
Yeah, after getting 4 off in the first half. But even then, Juve was playing very messy. They could have made it count earlier, except that their passes were all wayward. Paulo Dybala was in and out of it. Like, he was really trying, but it wasn't as effective. They were really bothered by the Lazio defense, to where after the game, Allegri came out and said that Lazio's defense is better than
Tottenham's. Yeah.
Okay.
Just big up in his Serie A brethren. So this goes into extra time, and I had to save this for the end. Injury time. Excuse me. Stoppage time, and I had to save this for the very end because Dybala's 93rd minute winner was fucking beastly.
Yeah, you'd think after he scored that fucking goal, you'd call him by his actual name, but
which is Dybala. I like Dybala. Diabolical. Yes.
It really was a diabolical fucking goal, though.
It was.
The turn, the move, and the finish. Like,
the dude.
Lazio didn't realize what happened.
The defender tried to tackle this dude.
He was gone.
Literally, and dude just strong armed him off, and it was a nice fucking
kind of
goal.
Bounced off the dude, and just like before you knew it, and he was like, "Fuck!" Like, it was already a goal.
The chip in, like, he caught it, he chipped the ball in, and then spun to go get it. This shit was sick, man.
Yeah, man.
Shout out, man of the match.
I hope they figure out how to play him with Messi for Argentina at some point. Cause
I thought he was off
he
that
was
team.
Bitching out, and they kicked his ass off the team.
Yeah,
he was like, "I don't know how to play with Messi." They're like, "Bye." He's like, "I was just asking a question." Bye.
Okay. So this win puts Juventus in real time within 1 point of Napoli with the game in hand.
Napoli having the game in hand.
Juventus having the game in hand because they played Coppa d'Italia this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So this is right before the Napoli-Roma game. So they're
level on games at that point.
They were level of games at that point. You're
right.
Yes. Juventus did not play Atalanta last week because they played them in the Coppa d'Italia. Lazio remained third above Roma before their game. Do we agree, man of the match, Dybala?
Yes, man of the match, Dybala. And quick mention, Copa del Rey, AC Milan versus Juventus final. Exciting stuff.
Damn, they moved to Spain? You said Copa del Rey. We're diving for glory over here, man.
They somehow backdoored the Spanish championship, and it's going to be an all-Italian final.
What?
Pardon, I meant Coppa Italia.
No doubt. So, we just covered 3 1-0 games. So this is going to seem like a fucking... And it is. This was an awesome game, man. Goal fest. Napoli hosting Roma. This ended 4-2. But goddamn, Napoli had all the shots.
Yes. Technically, it ended 2-4.
True.
But I love this game because it ticked so many boxes. High-scoring game. Check. Clash of styles. Check.
Sick goals.
Better possessing team being completely overrun in terms of goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Napoli had 26 shots to 10 and lost 4-2 at home.
That's correct. 13 shots on goal.
Yeah. Roma had 5 on goal. 4 of them were goals.
So, total statistical domination by Napoli. Insigne opens it up in the 6th minute.
Dribbles, which is funny because Napoli is a very dribbling team. They only had 8 successful dribbles to Roma's 13.
Wow.
And you know Napoli's style in their when they play their 4-3-3, like Barca was to like the tiki-taka, move, one touch, right? Napoli's is like you give it to the guy, he takes on his first guy, and then the defense opens up, and then he makes the pass. Like they all try to do like one dribble and then pass. And Roma, even though they were dominating a lot of things, figured that out. And that outlet, after they make the dribble, they're immediately there. So they would force them to get rid of the ball to somebody. Even though they dominated a lot and they took a lot of shots, they were never from comfortable positions.
So Insigne opens this up, 6th minute. Like, you think it's going to be a Napoli romp. That's what it's looking like. But, like, I mean, they turn right around. Roma immediately come around with a sick goal from
the Undertaker.
Man, you called that out about a month ago.
Yes.
You called him out about a month ago, man.
A kid from Turkey who never played for the big Istanbul teams and just was seen in a youth tournament and came to Italy. And, dude, he just started playing earlier in the season and he's killing it.
If you have not seen this goal, go ahead and Google it because it looked like a Steph Curry Rainbow 3.
Yes, at this point, actually, just Google him because over the past month, he has like 4 or 5 wonder goals that he has announced himself into the scene with. The Undertaker, Sengiz Under. Look out for that man.
So our boy Edin Checo Yoho, 26-minute header.
Wicked header.
I mean, he's just so fucking big, man. He takes Roma to the half, 2-1. Up 2-1. Still a game at this point.
A very, very, very good game. At halftime, you didn't know which way it was going to go. Napoli was balling, Roma was scoring, but it still had a lot of football left. They come back, and Checo Yoho.
Man, he checked them hoes. He pulled some old Ronaldo shit out his bag. A little step over, a little shimmy.
Yeah, he busted the move. Towards the end of last season and early this season, Philippe Coutinho from the opposite side of the field was doing that same cut across, stutter step, shoot it, and the curve on that ball. It looked like a free kick, man. Like not something you do at the end of actually busting a move on a dude.
It was a sick goal. So they're up 3-1 at this point. They end the game for all intents and purposes. Diego Perotti ends it in the 79th minute. They're up 4-1.
Mertens get the 4-2.
Dr. Dries Mertens brings it back in the 92nd for a goal. One thing I want to bring up, man, was Insigne. Insigne, by himself, had 10 shots on goal. Like, had he shot 30%, dude, they would have won this game. Like, he was fucking all over the field. He had an awesome game. He just couldn't finish.
He is, on transfer market, the highest rated Italian player in the Italian league.
He was vicious in this fucking game.
That team with the coach and the players is, I don't know why Europe, they're not ready for it or something, but in the Serie A, they're just looking good, except now squad size becomes important.
Yeah.
Can they hold on? Because Juventus does this every fucking year. Like, they don't.
So in this battle, so real quick, let's recap what this game means. Napoli still remain in first place now by a point, but Juventus have the game in hand. Roma is up to third. They're a point up on Lazio, and they're 2 up on Inter, who have the game in hand. What I want to ask here is, like, Juventus moving forward, playing in Champions League, how much, if they go ahead and beat, we've talked about this ad nauseum before, but if they beat Tottenham in Champions League,
how do?
No. If they do, though, I've been wrong. I've been known to be wrong.
I don't think they will either.
I think Tottenham wins that. We'll get to that later. But if I think
they're fine in terms of rotating for Italian league games because like they just knocked out one of their bigger teams. A lot of times, like they have a game in hand. It's against Atalanta. Like you can sit down a few guys and play it. You know, like. It's not as bad as in other leagues. Like in England, like you rotate and like there's still quality. Like you look at what's that team, Huddersfield or something. They have Esquerdo Like, he came out of nowhere, and he's fast as fuck. He can destroy people. Like, they have so much of that in England that it's harder. But in Italy, like Juve, they've been playing terrible football and winning for the last month and a half.
Yeah, it's true. So, who you got as man of the match?
Edin Dzeko.
Yeah, I either have him or I debated the Alisson, or whatever the hell his Brazilian
No,
name is.
I watched the game, and
Goalkeeper with
he did his thing, but the stats seeing how much they shot, like he wasn't as challenged as it could have been. Like he did have a regular David De Gea game, whereas Edin Dzeko away at Napoli, which is one of the toughest places to go and play, to score two like wonder goals. Like the header was like he was a head and shoulder above the next guy. The
Put
goal
it in the
was
corner.
nice.
Yep.
It was nice. But Alisson is going to go for a lot of money in the summer. Probably.
He's only 25.
Yeah, somebody's going to get him.
So I definitely want to use that moment right there, just to, I guess, shout out David Astori, who passed away in his hotel room prior to the Fiorentina game on Sunday and caused Serie A to cancel all their games. Kid was 31 years old, man. It's tough out there. Either way, I just wanted to shout that out. We're going to move on.
Rest in peace.
We're going to move on. Midfield.
Quick question. Sorry, but earlier you were asking me about formations, and this game was interesting to me because Napoli against Roma, they both played 4-3-3, but they played it in a very, very different way. One is a 4-3-3 based on trying to get possession and create opportunities, whereas the other one was a 4-3-3 that was to defend and break.
Counter, yeah.
And that's why this formation is just the beginning. Somebody needs to tell Conte.
Man, let them know. Let them know something. Midfield, we're going on. We're going to go to the Premier League roundup. Saturday, things get cracking with a rare sight these days, a Burnley victory over a common sight, Everton losing.
Everton losing away, even more common sight. I don't think they've won in like their last 9 or 10 away games, and I think they might have like 1 or 2 over the season.
Away supporters booed Allardyce and his boys off the field.
Ashley, who's the guy? The defender that got sent off for Everton. They got him from Leicester. Anyways, no. He got sent off. He's 34. Defender. Hasn't played well, has been embarrassing the defense for a while. They haven't come up with a solution. That in itself is enough to get you booed. The formation, by now you should be wondering who's the closest to being your starting 11. What are you doing? And don't get it twisted. I do not think by any means that Sam Allardyce should be getting the can. I think that he's the best person for the job. But there's that beginning period where they had new manager syndrome and they won those games, had people believing shit they shouldn't be believing, and they're just now back to being Everton. They will finish about 9th.
Yeah, they're 11th place right now. That's Everton.
Yeah.
80th minute goal by Chris Wood is what led to that Burnley victory. Burnley solidly, well, not solidly, but they're 7th place, man. Still an outstanding, with them not winning in like forever. Like
Ashley Williams.
What'd you say?
Ashley Williams.
Oh, that's the guy for Leicester. Got you. But yeah, Burnley, solid 7th place. Moving on, speaking of Leicester get the 1-1 draw with Bournemouth in the final moments, the final kick of the game. A fucking wonderful free kick by Mahrez.
Awesome Mahrez goal on the back of back-to-back good performances where he has scored. But the bigger storyline out of this has to be that Leicester at home needed a 93rd whatever minute goal to get points against Bournemouth. What the fuck?
And in all fairness, only 4 points separates them. But I do feel like Leicester's a much better team. Like the eye test tells me Leicester's a much better team.
They have players that less than 2 seasons ago were playing championship football, and Bournemouth is Bournemouth, and also home game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Either way, Leicester 8th place. Moving on, our boy Dini strikes again. Watford put the nail in the coffin on West Brom.
If you're doing good and you're playing well, play Watford. If your team is soft, you don't want to see Troy Deeney. He has been, over the course of this whole season, if you look at it, if there's a perception of softness, Arsenal, Everton, West Brom, Troy Deeney go and punish.
He's going to go do it. It's true. It's true. He had his own award section for about 3 or 4 weeks there.
Because sometimes he's even going to talk about it.
For sure, man. So Watford with a much needed win there. West Brom just looks like they're
started back in.
Yeah, they're relegated to relegation.
Yes, they have relegated themselves to it.
Absolutely. Tottenham, Huddersfield 2-0. Son with the brace.
Yes, so it's a double Son.
Nice.
Harry Kane and Dele Alli with the assist. Harry Kane with the real assist.
Harry Kane's assist though.
Yeah, it was a nice assist.
Man, that's like some FIFA shit I used
Man,
to do.
as much as Son has run for him this year, he needed to give him a fucking dime of an assist.
Had to.
But
Yep.
they're looking really nice with their injuries coming back and Lucas being signed. Like now, Tottenham is looking like they even have that one thing. What? Depth.
Bruh, they have not. Yeah, my buddy was just mentioning that they're everybody's kind of coming back from injury, and Lamela is like key for them having an option in the midfield for somebody who can do something creative other than Eriksen. They have not lost since the middle of December when they lost to City 4-1.
Yeah, they've been
It's an impressive run.
It is an impressive run, but they've also like tied like fucking lower division teams in the cup and stuff in that run. So it's like,
man, it's gonna happen. Wigan. Anyway,
I forget. Sore subject.
Oh man, the Swans showed up and they fucking stuck at the David Moyes and West Ham.
Ooh-wee.
Beat that ass.
Apparently, them London boys didn't want to go to fucking Wales because they got the work put on them.
4-1.
4-1. And it wasn't even some guy got hot. 4 guys scored.
Yeah, it was a 4-0, I think, and then they drew one back at the end. Yeah, whooping their ass.
But the Ayew brothers, Abedi Pele's sons, have been looking wonderful since the new coach has come. And they got the brother from West Ham in the fucking January transfer. So I think Swansea's really making a move to stay up. Their momentum is good.
And it's crazy. I mean, we've talked about this. Half the league is some bullshit, but like they're 13th place, but they're only 3 points off relegation. And they're tied with West Ham, above West Ham on 1 goal difference. Moving along, Southampton, Stoke in the battle of potential relegation, battle to a thrilling 0-0.
I think Stoke is soon gonna start packing up like West Brom, and that's gonna be the second relegated team. Southampton still has some.
They have not won in like forever. It has been a long time.
No, I agree with you, but they're still where they are, and I'm saying like from this starting point, I usually go with the teams that have more talented players that can get you a point here or there. And Southampton has more guys that have the potential to even score for you than just having Shaqiri.
Yeah, and I take that back. They won 3-2 over West Brom on February 3rd.
That's West Brom too.
Yeah, it's West Brom, I know.
They almost tried to give that away.
It's true. Yeah, but setting up that relegation battle, that'd probably be the most exciting thing outside of the top 4 on the final day. Moving along, Liverpool dispatch of Newcastle handily 2-0. Liverpool remains 3rd place.
Before we go any further, I would say on the final day, the relegation battle is going to be way more entertaining than the top 4 because top 4 is shaping up.
Yeah, you're right. Top 4 will probably be over. It'll just be, and there's no.
There's a 5-point gap between 4 and 5,
and there's no Champions League play-in this year, right? So 4th place is just as good as 3rd.
I think 4 automatic 4. Yeah,
that's right. The oligarchy
so Chelsea
is
and Arsenal on the outside
over.
looking in.
That's tough, man. Chelsea get a slight respite with the 2 of their rivals playing this weekend, but I'm not sure it'll be enough. Moving along, though, Liverpool.
Which 2, you might ask?
Liverpool United.
Those are not their rivals right now.
I mean, they're
Burnley played Tottenham, that would be closer to them on both sides. But like Liverpool and United are down.
7 points up. Liverpool is from Chelsea.
United 9.
So Liverpool with the 2-0. Was that Mane and Firmino with the goals?
No. Mo.
Salah again. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just a typical performance from Liverpool. Scored each side of the scored at the right before half and right after half, and just good day at the job.
Put it away.
They need to do more of these games where they're not really overexerting and looking spectacular, but they just get the points.
Absolutely. So Sunday starts with it starts with this game. Brighton Hove hosting Arsenal.
Dude, you know that Hove got a player called Bong on it?
Oh shit, I did not.
He got dreadlocks.
That bong.
But
4 straight losses for Arsene. First time in his career.
Oh, that's the only surprising part. Is it's his first time ever getting 4 losses in a row. But Peter Cech, he should have put on Brighton colors.
Publicly apologized.
I mean, he should be publicly like that queen lady on Game of Thrones. He should walk around London naked and have people throw potatoes and shit at him.
Hung, drawn, and quartered.
Yeah,
is what they used to do to people in this position. I don't even want to talk about Arsenal anymore. Like, what can we say that we haven't said already?
First of all, but as an aside, like the Granit Xhaka, Aaron Ramsey, central midfield, it doesn't work. Like,
why not?
It's just shit.
Yeah.
One of the guys can't really do anything well, Granit Xhaka, and Aaron Ramsey needs somebody that can actually do. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. They actually miss Coquelin. They need a player like that covers a lot of space and makes moves and just makes that fucking 5-yard pass. And this guy's too erratic.
Let's Ramsey go forward a little bit more, right?
Yeah. This guy's too erratic, and it's just like, and he's not even imposing physically. He's just a yellow card waiting to happen. It's shit over there. We all know this. Bye.
So we're recording this episode a little bit late, so we can actually cover the Monday game. Crystal Palace hosting Man United. This was a pretty fun game.
Yes, it was. Crystal Palace
came out.
They balled
2-0 at half.
They've been ever since the coaching change at the beginning of the season, win, lose or draw, they've been actually playing pretty good. And they got a deflected goal to start it off, and then a second goal from De Jong. Anyways, they get the 2 goals, and it never looked like that was gonna just stay.
Van Holt.
Van Arnold.
Van Arnold.
Yes.
Van Arnold.
Van Arnold.
Okay.
Yes, Van Arnold.
You got to be Dutch or some shit, right?
I mean,
the Van.
Yeah.
And some shit that doesn't make sense from an enunciation standpoint. Anyway.
Or Polish, as I call them.
So Manchester brings us back, though, man. Chris Smalling with the header. Romelu actually brings them even in the 76th minute.
Dude, that was a nice bounce pass to himself off the hand.
It was.
Good control. Like, so you can't control with your feet. You're good at it with your hand.
It was a good goal though. Like, he kicked it through 5 fucking Palace players.
It was a wicked goal, but if Manchester United gets a goal where the ball touched somebody's hand scored against them, we would be discussing right now how much of a temper tantrum there was and who's getting punished and all this. No. Crystal Palace got robbed on that goal.
It's tough out there. And had they not got robbed on that goal, then our boy Otto Matic
might not be up there.
Yeah, maybe up there, man. He came 91st minute, and I mean, you could see it coming because he just lined that shit up, man. And I've seen him hit a goal like that earlier this year, I think.
They were so caught up with just like not letting the creative players get him that they sat so deep. He's a Premier League midfielder that has gone from Chelsea to United. Like, he can ball.
Yeah.
You don't give somebody like that much time.
Goals.
There was nobody anywhere around.
Yep.
He was like, Okay, I'll fucking give you a worldie.
Yeah. It was a sick strike outside the box, tons of curl and movement on it, and just found the left part of the goal. And game, set, match. Manchester walk away with a fun game, but unsuspecting 3 points, which keeps them second place, man.
Also, good stat for Mourinho, because Mourinho has not been getting any points in games that they've been down.
Right?
It's he needed to come back on his resume.
Man, is this the first one? He was down at half. That he was actually come back down at half?
I think that this is the first one since he was still at Chelsea, actually.
Damn, no doubt. So this leaves top four as City, United, Liverpool, Tottenham. I'm not even going to give you the point differential between City and United. We'll just discuss United with 62, Liverpool with 60, Tottenham with 58. It's tight there. And Chelsea and Arsenal filling that in with 5th and 6th. Relegation battle looks like West Brom's, Stoke, and Palace. Sitting.
Gone.
I don't think they're going to go, man. I think South is going to go.
I think Palace stays.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think Stoke and West Brom, though, are gone.
Yeah,
I think Huddersfield need to watch themselves.
Stoke's been awful this year.
Stoke's been awful for like 3.5 years now. Like, I've been wanting them to leave this. And they don't even do the thing where they're playing nice football and shit. Like, it's just like such a waste of life.
Go away, waste of life. I love that. The Golden Boot race, I always want to mention because this is pretty exciting. Actually, Harry Kane with 24 and Mo Salah with 24. Aguero rounding out that top three with 21. This looks like it'll go down to the end of the year as well. That's a lot of fucking goals, man.
Yeah, this is
with 9 games left.
They're gonna break the single
30.
season scoring,
which is, do you know? It's like 31 or 32 or something, right?
32, something like that.
Yep.
Not totally sure. It's there used to be 34 on the old Premier schedule because they had more teams and Alan Shearer, and then I think Henri tied it. We'll check. We'll get at y'all for next week, and talk about that a little bit if you want.
And then Suarez would have had it had he not missed 8 games. Or how many ever he missed that year.
Yes, I think he missed 6 league games.
He had like 30 goals.
Yeah.
It was sick. All right, man. Let's move on. La Liga. Round up. Saturday gets... No Friday game. Saturday gets off. Girona coming off the 6-1 drubbing by Barcelona. They are away to Villarreal, and they come away with a 2-0.
Villarreal, interesting fact,
I was just saying. talk about diving.
Yes,
Villarreal's just been diving down the
fucking
table.
Nose diving, and not only are they nose diving, there's this new thing in Spain right now. Shh, don't tell nobody. You quietly sell your players to China. Their star striker Cedric, they just got 30 million for, and they sold him to China.
Wow, and I
so
love
they're
that.
not even trying to stay up. They're like, it's okay, we've got enough points, we'll fall to middle of the table, it's fine.
I love that the Chinese transfer window is like year round.
No, it's like those French windows. You just open it as a door. It can be a gate if you wanted to.
It's true.
When's your transfer window? When's your players available?
Dude, exactly. So mini city Girona, man, they move up to 7th, dude. They're a point off 6th place. Like, they're doing some shit.
And Stuani again. We've talked about him before on the show. He's doing his thing. Girona is having a really, really good season, but that's to be expected when you have a super agent as one of your team's owners.
And you got Sheikh Mansour in his Lamborghini somewhere behind the curtain.
Yes.
Sevilla, up and down, just fucking up and down. But this week they were up with a 2-0 over Bilbao.
Sevilla is coming together. Like, it's going to be some growing pains and stuff turning to Montella's system, but he's organizing them. We saw it with the Manchester United first leg. We've been watching it. The team is playing more and more like a unit. Ever Banega in the midfield is a boss.
Yeah,
he's been a boss for years now, but like, he's really putting the team on his back.
He's a what international? Because Argentine. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he had some good jokes about him the last Copa or World Cup or whatever.
Yes.
Leganes, the legends, put 2 up on Malaga, who are, God, man, they should just go to League 2, wherever the hell it is, there. Like now, like they're done. They've been done. We've been saying this.
The owner has no interest. Like it has been a fucked situation for a while. At least there's no rumors that they're not playing their players, just like there was previously. So,
yep.
I just want them to leave. If you can't afford to play the game, then get the fuck out.
Also in the relegation battle is Deportivo. They hosted Eibar and came away with the point.
Eibar is one of the better mid-level teams in the league, and Depor, even though they didn't get the full 3 points, Seedorf is still winless, but the point against Eibar for this Depor team should be, especially a scoring point, should be considered a mini victory.
Absolutely. And Saturday ends with a Real Madrid 3-1 victory over Getafe. Ronaldo with the brace.
Yes, Ronaldo has the base and Bale gets them. Getafe has a red card in that game and tried to kind of be in it, but they were like
they scored their goal after the red card.
Yeah,
which actually made it 2-1, and then Ronaldo finished it off.
Yeah, but they were always just food for the Lions, you know. And Ronaldo and them just came to just get them points and them goals.
Yep, pretty much, and he got them. So Sunday gets cranking with Levante hosting Espanyol to a 1-1 draw.
Espanyol coming off. Just beating Real Madrid in the midweek.
Ah, that's right. How could I forget that?
For the first time in like 25 tries or some shit.
I swore we covered it last week, but you're right. It was like on Tuesday or something, wasn't it?
Wednesday game, I think, yeah.
Yes, awesome. Love to see that.
Espanyol got a last-minute goal in that game and in this game. So they got 4 points in the last minute over the 2 games this week.
Go ahead, Espanyol. They're not really relegation threatened. They're not Europe threatened. They're just kind of in that middle earth. Sociedad hosted Alaves and came away with a 2-1.
Yeah. Sociedad doing their thing. Sergio Canales had an assist. It was nice to see him. He was at one point supposed to be big time for Real Madrid and never made it.
Valencia 2-0 over Betis.
Moreno and Zaza scoring the goals. Valencia's game plan seems funky. They constantly have less possession and their stats are not looking
no matter who they play,
the best, and then they're just putting out like 2-0 and
yeah. Man, 3 points.
Oh yeah.
Celta Vigo.
Kondogbia and Dani Parejo in midfield is killing it.
See if he's there next year. Monday, Celta Vigo hosts Las Palmas. Come away with the 2-1. That is dire news for Las Palmas as they languish in the relegation zone.
Yes, they're getting comfortable there.
Yeah, it's still close enough. So top 4 reads as Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Valencia. Barcelona with the 8-point gap, as mentioned before, on Atletico. Villarreal sits in 6th. Girona is a point off in 7th. Now, the relegation battle is very clear. In this league, it is only between 3 teams. This is Deportivo, Las Palmas, and Levante. 2 points separate them. 2 of those 3 will go down. You have a favorite for that? Who's not going to go down?
I don't want Depor to go down.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
They might, but I just like Depor because of when I was younger, I used to watch them play. So the other 2 teams that just came around lately, so I don't really give a fuck.
No doubt. Just as I mentioned, La Pichichi, because I really want to mention this one particular part of this. Messi leads league with 24 goals. Suarez is second with 20. Aspas has not scored in a while, so he sits on 16, but he is tied with
Ronnie.
Shy Ronnie.
The other one.
I just find that amazing. Like, he started the year off so shitty, and like he's creeping. Real Madrid is creeping.
Real Madrid
I hate them.
But they're not really like creeping per se. Like, they're around, like they passed Valencia. But that's about it.
Oh, for sure. I guess I just mean like an overall thing. Like, he's creeping up those charts. Like, they're looking very well placed for advancement in Champions League. Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. We're gonna quickly cover Bundesliga. Since Serie A did not happen and League One was a wash this week. Bundesliga starts off Friday. Mönchengladbach, Werder Bremen, a 2-2 draw.
After Gladbach go 2-0 up, one of which was an own goal, they fucking give it back.
It's tough out there. That was tough for Bremen. Well, actually, they got a point. They needed that point.
Away.
They're in a relegation battle. That's pretty big for them. Saturday, I'm going to ask a very particular question about Germany here in a second, but I'll get to it. Augsburg hosting Hoffenheim. Take the loss 2-0. Hoffenheim with the win.
Ex-Arsenal boy Gnabry scores a goal, and Andre Kramaric.
Okay. Next game is Hamburg. I got that right, didn't I?
Hamburg? Okay.
Can I put Hamburg. That? I can't put that.
Hamburg.
I want to put a in it, man.
Hey, do it.
Versus Mans. Yo, that's my mans.
That's my mines and them.
That's
my mines and them.
That's your mans. Is that Mans 05, right?
Mines
05?
I don't know about the numbers. They just called mines.
It is. I believe it is.
Yes, it is. But that's where Jurgen Klopp started his career. As a coach.
As a player or coach?
Player
okay.
and coach.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, did 7 years there.
All right, moving along. Frankfurt, who's in a surprising 4th place, get a 1-0 victory over Hanover 9-6.
Yes, Kevin Prince Boateng is playing out in Frankfurt, and the team as a whole is looking really good. I don't know, the coaches got him playing.
Did he come out of retirement or something? He took a year off or something, right?
Nah, he was in, funny ass, Las Palmas.
Oh, shit. He was on vacation, son. The boys by the beach.
Yes, right by the beach.
Right by the beach, man. Schalke with a 1-0 over Hertha Berlin.
Yes, Piaka scoring, Franco Di Santo, ex of Chelsea, assist.
No doubt.
I thought he was dead. He's in Schalke.
Wolfsburg take the L, hosting Leverkusen. 2-1, Leverkusen wins.
Yes, Julia Brandt scores.
Nope. And then what you would say is the biggest match of the week in Bundesliga. RB Leipzig draw Dortmund 1-1 at Leipzig.
Yes.
Royce with the goal, right?
Yeah. And Naby Keita to Jean-Kevin Augustin for the RB goal. They went ahead. And Royce ties it. But Dortmund, with Royce, Götze, and Schürrle supporting the Batman, is looking ready for the final part of the season. I think that they're going to make a strong push, and I would say, if I had to choose, that Dortmund finishes in 2nd place.
Okay, no doubt. They've been looking up ever
since.
Second
Ruhr Derby, or whatever they call it, when they're going to play against the Schalke, the return. You need to make sure you catch that game. Like, they hate each other so much that one year Schalke sold out their stadium, their home stadium, for an away game. People came to watch TV in their stadium.
Wow, that's tight. That goes to our older discussion about the fan atmosphere in Bundesliga. Go ahead. Dortmund looking better since they got rid of Aubameyang. Moving along though. Sunday, Cologne. Is that what that is? That is Cologne? They just spell it Koln?
Yeah.
Fucking Germanic. Anyway, Stuttgart.
Well, if you really want to be offended, that's called Stuttgart. The SH, imagine.
Stuttgart. Stuttgart come away with the 3-2 victory over Cologne. Mario
Gomez. Mario Gomez.
Deciding with the brace.
Mario Gomez.
Yay.
Yes, he's back for now.
For now.
And Cologne. Claudio Pizarro is still playing football, and he happens to be in Cologne, apparently. He's going to be playing in the Bundesliga 2 next year.
Pizarro. Yay. So Bayern smashed Freiburg 4-0. No surprise there.
The one surprise goal of the week contender, actually, Tolisso.
Yeah.
The second goal that he scored was banging.
Okay. I'm about to check that out. So this leaves Bundesliga. Do I even need to mention fucking Bayern are 20 points up, dude? It's ridiculous.
Then there's a race.
They have 9 games left, so they could be done with that in like 3. Anyway, then there's a race. Schalke with 43, Dortmund with 42, Frankfurt with 42, and then rounding that out, 5th place is 41 points for Leverkusen and 39 points for Leipzig. That seems like the European spot should be an interesting battle there.
Red Bull look like they're falling off. That
majorly
thin team is suffering. Like,
playing the extra Europa games too.
But, yeah, Timo Werner, that kid can only rely on so much. He's going to be burnt out now.
Goody Timo. Relegation looks like 2 teams are going down for sure, which is Cologne and Hamburg. And my mans sit in the 16th with 25 points, but they're tied with Wolfsburg, Bremen with 27. That seems to be the relegation battle. Interesting. Lewandowski, 20 goals, leads the league. Aubameyang is still second with 13. And then 3rd place is Nils. I just love that there's a dude that plays soccer named Nils. Nils Peterson, 3rd with 12. Nils.
All right, then.
All right, and on to our final midfield section, the Champions League preview. We're going to start with the big matchup first, which is Paris Saint-Germain hosting Real Madrid. They go into this game down 3-1 on aggregate and down 221 million euro Brazilian.
And their French player coming off injury too, Mbappe.
Oh, is he? He's coming back for this game?
They're saying he might not. We'll see. But last year in the game when they tore up Barca at home, their starting 3 was
Cavani,
yes, and Di Maria and
Draxler.
Huh? Yes.
Draxler.
And that might be the starting 3 they use this year. And this
like
is
Drax,
the system. Man. I think I love. He's a wicked player, but Di Maria is up and down. But if he's on his game, he's unstoppable. I can't call this game, but I think that 2-0 is not going to do it for PSG.
No, they're going to give up goals.
They're going to get scored on. So they better be prepared to score at least 3 goals.
Yep.
And that is when, like, Neymar not being there and stuff start to look like an issue.
It's tough out there. What's your thoughts? who do you got?
It's like the common opinion. It's tough out there.
It's tough out there, man. What can you do, man? What do you think? What's your prediction?
I think Real go through. Yeah. Usually I say like, I think Real, but I would like them to lose. I don't particularly like PSG either, so I think Real would go through. Probably a draw.
Yeah, I was thinking a draw.
Or a 1-0 PSG.
Okay.
That might happen too.
So in the other match later that day, this is, why? Liverpool and Porto.
That's done.
They're done. 5-0.
Yeah.
Move on to Wednesday. Manchester City hosting Basel.
Done.
4-0. Hopefully get some rest for some players, Pep, please.
It was nice seeing Yaya this weekend.
I know. What you mean in the Carabao Cup final?
Just seeing him.
Oh, I know.
He came on as a sub in the...
No, he did play. That's right.
Yeah.
Played late.
Yeah.
In the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
But he was dressed fresh for the Carabao Cup, man.
Yeah,
a nice
Mendy.
Yeah. Fucking Mendy. He's coming back, son. The other big matchup this round of Champions League, or these round of games, is Tottenham hosting Juventus. This is 2-2 on aggregate. This should be a fun, delectable game.
Yeah, on current form and looking at the teams, especially with Tottenham's big guys coming back from injury, I think that Tottenham is going to actually rock Juventus.
Rock them, huh?
Rock them.
As long as they don't show up and defend like they did the first 20 minutes.
More than 1 goal difference. Like, I don't think it's going to be by a goal.
3-0 or something, 3-1 or something.
3-1, 3-0, maybe 4-1, something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised, because I think if one thing we've noticed about Tottenham this year is that they they're really getting up for their Champions League games.
First off, they're really getting up for their Champions League games. Secondly, they're feeling more at home at home.
At Wembley, yeah, true.
So like it's becoming the fortress, and once you turn the fans and the mood, it's actually a huge stadium, so it's a huge advantage. Exactly. It took time, but right now, like that place is a fortress, man.
No doubt. Oh man, I can't wait. It should be exciting. We'll get down to the final 8 after next week's games. Next week we'll have the preview and the review. And that is our midfield section. We're going to move on. Ladies and gentlemen, for the prestigious and egregious Diving for Glory award section. And our dude of the week goes to...
Dude of the week goes to the Silvas.
Devardo.
The Silvas, Bernardo and David Silva balled the fuck out.
Ran rampant.
Chelsea was City was at their destructive best. They scored, assisted, balled out, had 130-something touches in the game. All of it just cuz.
Yeah, for sure. Shouts out, man. Balled out with Silva's. Bernardo in particular is really coming into his own. He wasn't getting time at first, and then he was a bit player because fucking Sterling just wouldn't let him on the field. The dude is fucking coming off now.
Oh, yeah. It seems like now they have all the options to play very many different kinds of formations and styles.
Yes, beautiful to watch. Goal of the week, man. There was a lot of contenders for this, man. Messi with the free kick, Dybala's beastly goal, Mahrez free kick, Under with the chip, Checo with the step over, but we are giving it to
the man they used to call Otto, Mr. Nemanja Matic.
Representing his Il Matic.
That game and how it went and how he finished it is just once in a lifetime scenario that happened for him.
Yeah, beautiful goal, man.
Oh yeah.
The twat happened moment also comes from the English League. English League dominance over our awards this week.
Yes, this one is one of your, as you call it, egregious awards.
Most certainly.
But Conte, the manager of Chelsea, for putting out two teams with lame midfields and a false nine that doesn't want to be playing as a false nine and is clearly very ineffective as a false nine, insisting on starting Pedro 2 games in a row, even though Pedro, even in the game they did good against Barcelona, he was shit in that one too.
He was trash in this last game, in the City game. Trash.
And what the fuck he's doing, I don't understand. But they need to can him during the season, is my opinion. He might still get to catch Tottenham in 4th place if you make the move.
Get the new manager syndrome?
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole, man. He's just talking shit. Like, he's always... Like, what is it with these guys that are paid £10 million a year that they complain about players so much? Like, coach them up.
Coach him up, dude. Shut the fuck up. You won the league with this team last year. I don't want to hear this shit,
guys that you put on loan that are scoring and shit for other teams. Like, play your youth players and coach them up. Come up with a team and fucking get a victory, or just don't embarrass yourself.
With all that, I'd like to congratulate Antonio Conte for being our award winner this week. You won something this week, motherfucker.
That's the only win, motherfucker.
All right, man. Moving on. Upcoming games, man. We're gonna start with the. I don't want to call it the granddaddy of them all. This is, historically a huge matchup and will mean a lot to Tottenham, actually. Manchester United hosting Liverpool.
Means a lot to all three of them.
Does.
But this is clearly a clash of styles that anybody that likes football would want to see. The last time they played, Manchester United's style of slowing it down kind of fucked the game, so I'm hoping Liverpool kind of forces Manchester to come out of their shell.
This match has been a snoozer for me the last few years. A few games in La Liga, nothing on that level. Atletico hosting Celta, Malaga hosting Barca, Eibar hosting Real, and upper mid-table battle Sevilla hosting Valencia.
That's a big nice game right there.
Yes, 4th and 5th place.
Valencia playing back-to-back Sevilla teams in a week. They just killed Betis this weekend.
No doubt. Should be interesting. Sevilla creeping on that fourth place spot. Serie A back in action. Inter Milan hosting Napoli.
Yeah, I think Napoli's going to beat them, though. Inter is lost right now.
Inter's still in the running. Still in the running for fourth place.
Thank you.
So it's a big match. It's a big match.
Still in the running, and I was like, for fourth place, I was like, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Bundesliga, similar tie. Dortmund, kind of similar. Dortmund hosting Frankfurt. Top four battle.
Yes, Dortmund-Frankfurt should be fun. Dortmund RB, which is the one that just passed, is a very heated and hateful rivalry. Dortmund-Frankfurt should be more about football, and we'll see how it goes.
No doubt. Also, just want to mention the Europa round of 16 first leg games of this week. AC Milan and Arsenal, Atletico Lokomotiv, Dortmund Salzburg, CSKA Lyon, Lazio Dynamo Kiev, Marseille hosting Bilbao, RB Leipzig hosting Zenit, and Sporting CP hosting Plzen. That's the Plzen.
Yes.
Thoughts on that? You don't watch any of that?
Yeah. But I'm just going to probably watch whatever's on at the time. But Marseille, Athletic Bilbao, and was it Dortmund Lokomotiv?
Yeah. No. Dortmund Salzburg. Which is the other RB team.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. Dortmund going the RB two-step.
Mm-hmm. And that match is in the books. Diving for Glory, episode 29. That's what it is. As always, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate anyone who takes the time to check us out. Don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Tuesday on iTunes and divingforglory.com. Now you can also find this on YouTube. Video D4G coming soon, man. Follow us on Twitter at Diving for Glory, Facebook as well. Follow it, hashtag it, like it, get at us. Till next week. Corsiola, Solomon. Match.
Peace.
Diving.
There's nothing more to say.
Diving.